Hey there, today we're doing a review of the D-Fy.it 1 waterproof backpack. Here at Nomads Nation, we have been doing the world's best EDC and travel gear reviews for over 7 years. And in this video, we're gonna tear this bag apart. We're gonna fully pack it out, double check its advertised capacity. I'm gonna give you my brutally honest pros and cons and overall scores, and you're gonna wanna stick around to the end, because if you're not quite sold that this is the bag for you, I'll make a few alternative suggestions that you might like more. Also, here at Nomads Nation, we have hundreds of bags in line to be reviewed, which is why we do offer brands the ability to skip the line, which is what D-Fy did. They paid our partnership pricing, but you'll see throughout this video that does not affect our review, only the date that we publish it. Let's talk about the gist of the D-Fy.it 1 waterproof backpack. And I'm really excited about this bag, guys, because I love bags that are very focused, and that are extremely focused on doing something exceptionally well, which, as the name suggests, D-Fy is trying to do with its waterproofness, which is a word that's so tossed around in bags. You'll see it on websites all the time. Waterproof bag here and waterproof sling, and they're not actually waterproof. They might use some waterproof materials, but real waterproofness is like a different league. D-Fy.it is a new brand. They're from Switzerland. And I just want to know, although I don't know the founder, Alex, I do know the development team, Bagme, who helps to make this bag, as they also help to make bags for my brand, Fyro. Just want to be clear about that up front. But this bag is more than just a waterproof vessel. Let me run you through some of its top features. We've got that classic roll top design, 2 external water bottle holders, a well-ventilated harness system, a hidden pocket in the back. But here's where things get really interesting and innovative. As you can see underneath the roll top, D-Fy.it has introduced a 2-tier waterproofing system, where the lining of the bag can connect to the exterior fabric via Velcro, or if you need like some next level water resistance, you can then take the lining and roll it up. And basically what you have here is a dry bag inside of your roll top. Double whammy. This is patent pending, so it's a very unique offering. And I'm not gonna lie, it's really smart, but it doesn't mean that it doesn't have its quirks. I'll run you through what those are 2 chapters from now. Now, D-Fy claims that this bag is 20 liters that can expand to 27 liters in capacity. Let's double check that. All right, quick dimension check. Just under 17 inches height, 11.5 inches width, and 8 inches fully packed out depth. As for the capacity, so you can see right here, we're at 5, 10, 15, basically 20 liters on the dot. Now, I would say I pushed this roll top to like 3/4 capacity, so I don't think you're gonna get a full 27 out of it, at least not by the way that I'm measuring. D-Fy.it claims this bag weighs 570 grams. Now, I'm getting 690 on scale number 1, but in their defense, I just saturated this bag outside, testing its water resistance, and some of that water definitely soaked into the bag, like specifically the back panel and the nylon webbing. And you can see here with scale number 2, we're coming at 720 grams. I don't know if you can see it on camera, but we're still a little waterlogged with this bag. So I'm sure if you take out the extra water weight that we put on, we're right around that 570 grams. As of recording, this bag comes in 2 color options. Here you can see it when it's empty. And here it is worn on me waltzing around the streets of Hong Kong. For reference, I'm 5'8". This bag is protected by a 3-year warranty against manufacturing defects. And as of launching this video, this bag is live on Kickstarter, running anywhere from $139 to $149 USD. And if at any point during this review you're digging the bag and you're thinking about picking one up, we do suggest doing so with the first link in the description below. 2 reasons why. First, that link makes sure that you get the best price, and we oftentimes have discount codes. But that link also helps support the Nomads Nation YouTube channel and team, so we can keep making the best bag reviews on the web. Thank you very much. Let's talk about the front of the D-Fy.it 1 waterproof backpack. And there's not a lot to talk about with the front of this bag, actually the bag in general. There's not a ton of features which I like because it shows focus, that they wanted to accomplish their primary goal of water resistance and waterproofness. We'll talk about that more in depth in the next chapter. But actually, to understand how to make a bag waterproof, you gotta understand the primary fabric. This is an 840D ballistic nylon with an external matte polycarbonate coating. And to explain what that means, basically ballistic nylon typically looks like this. Granted, this is a 1680D, but we're close. And then to get from this, which has a little bit more of an organic sort of feel, to this, which has a bit more of a, let's call it plasticky feel, that's the polycarbonate coating. Now, a coating is just like a finish. And there's bad coatings and good coatings. And with bad and good, I mean their longevity. Polyurethane, AKA PU coatings, typically pretty bad. Not because they don't work. In fact, in our testing here at Nomadization, we found that PU coated zippers can block an extra 30% of water. But because they can peel, PU coated zippers, PU coated fabrics, they don't always age very well. In contrast though, a polycarbonate coating can age significantly better. Now this is a very thick coating, so because of that there could be extra complications with long exposure to sunlight, or if you're bending the fabric a lot, but more or less I feel pretty confident this is a fabric that's going to stand the test of time. And that's why it's so weather resistant, because that polycarbonate coating, that finish, is what blocks out the rain. Now, one of the most important aspects of the front of the bag is going to be this buckle and this whole nylon webbing system, as to where that's how you cinch or roll the roll top and secure it. And it's contributing to the overall aesthetic. This is a bag that looks pretty low key to me. Like, it looks fresh, it looks clean, but not in a way that's going to attract too much attention. We're using a very nice, high quality nylon webbing here and a plastic buckle from Woojin. They're one of the best hardware makers in the game. And this buckle allows you to secure it through this nylon webbing there. And you've also got another nylon webbing loop here at the back. We're getting ahead of ourselves, and in fact, let's jump into the next section and really get into the meat and potatoes of this bag and show you how waterproof it actually is. Let's talk about the middle of the D-Fy.it 1 waterproof roll top. Now we have 2 external water bottle pockets. We're gonna test those out in a second when the bag is fully packed out. But let's just talk like the world of waterproofing, because I'm gonna rant a little bit because I got some things to say, because there's a lot of things to take into consideration. I think though, if you're watching this review, you are really in need of weather protection. Maybe you commute daily to work, maybe you're hiking in extreme conditions every weekend, or maybe you just like the idea of your stuff staying bone dry, no matter the circumstances. But what you have to understand is that if you want that, there are sacrifices and trade-offs that you have to make to get that. For instance, like a lot of roll tops try and do it all. Let's look at like the Wandered Provoke 31, a classic roll top, probably the most popular roll top in the world. And that's a roll top that has a lot of weather resistance, because roll tops by nature, you know, this folded fabric is just really hard for rain to penetrate. And it's got weather resistant materials and zippers, but it doesn't have one of the most important parts to actually make a bag waterproof, which is this right here, which is taped seams. Now the seam is literally where you take 2 fabrics and you sew them together, right? That line of sewing, that's the seam. And it makes sense that a seam is not waterproof, right? Because there's holes that the needle makes and therefore water can drip on through there. So technically speaking, all of these seams here are compromising the water resistance of this bag. So for hiking gear, what they do is they actually go into these bags and they hand apply tape. It's a very tedious, very expensive process. Taking your bag to the next level then, because if the water actually penetrates the seam, it won't go past that tape. So to get all this weatherproofing, it's gonna cost you more money, more labor, more materials. But also, more seams equals more entry points for water. So for instance, on the Wandered roll top, just to pick on it again, it's got a lot of pockets on the outside, and pockets on the outside are great for access, but they're bad for weather resistance because there's more zippers and more seams and more potential points of compromise. But D-Fy.it knows what they were doing. They said, that's not our game. But that also means you're going to lose a lot of quick access. Like a lot of cool roll tops, like modern roll tops, have like a pocket right here, right? You can just swing the bag around and grab what you need. Or top sunglasses pocket, right? But D-Fy.it, they stayed focused. They said, if you really want waterproof, we're gonna do it the right way, god damn it. But having said that, we do have one quick access-ish pocket on the back. We'll talk about that in the next chapter. So my final point in this rant too of just access is the fact that for a roll top, you gotta access it this way. It's the descent, the mountain climbing, like rope lapel, like descent into the darkness. Like that's what we got going on here to get whatever's at the bottom. A more modern roll top might have a zippered access in the back, again, like the Wandered Provoke. But although I said it can be a black hole, D-Fy did a beautiful, brilliant thing here by putting this beautiful, brilliant lining inside the bag, therefore making it a little bit less black hole-esque. I also love that they didn't include much organization, because that would be a gimmick to me, because I don't need pockets at the bottom of a roll top like this. I'm not gonna be able to access them. I'm not gonna be able to use them. This is a throw-all with one tech sleeve right here, and with a zippered pocket right here. Now, but this liner tells another part of this story, which, like I said, the key selling point is the patent pending fact that the liner is sewn into the bag from this point down, but it's not from this point up, which gives you then that double whammy where you can turn it into a dry bag. But this liner is not just beautifully colored, but it's actually a 70D nylon, and it has a 10,000 millimeter waterproof coating. And as we said earlier, it's also seam sealed. So this is that part too, where you're getting the double weather resistance. This is just a bag that, I just love its focus, you know? And the dry bag part is so cool to this. Let me show you how it works, but first we gotta pack the bag out. So let's say we're headed to the office and it's summer, and it's a rainy summer. So we wanna keep our stuff dry, throw our tech pouch at the bottom, another tech pouch at the bottom. I'll say this isn't the tallest roll top, which is nice. Sometimes like these things are long when the roll is fully unrolled. It's very difficult to grab, but you know, I'm a shorter dude. My little T-Rex arms can grab these, no problem. Before we fill the bag out though, let's talk about the laptop protection. This is a 17-inch Asus VivoBook, and that is not gonna fit. Got a 3D cutout of a 16-inch MacBook Pro. And that, ooh, Okay, so that's technically fitting, but it was a tough squeeze to get it in there. So if you do rock a 16-inch MacBook Pro, yeah, we're fine. I mean, it's tight. It's really tight, but it fits. We got a little bit of padding right here for protection. Plenty of padding on the back panel as well. For the false bottom, oh yeah, it's pretty nice. False bottom's right around where this seam is right here. Which just means that if you drop the bag, it's less likely to damage your laptop. Let's hear it. Yeah, very well protected. Let's throw my headphone case in there, book, a hoodie, and now you see me rolling. Chameleonaires, shout out. And boom, we're packed out, but good note on the corner tab. So you can see right here, this is one issue also with roll tops, is that they're not technically a dry bag because you have to roll them. And if you don't roll it the right way, you do risk corners being exposed. So it does take a little bit of extra mindfulness. But then for those days where it's summer and that monsoon season is hitting hard. I'm in Hong Kong. I know all about monsoon season. She's like, you know what, today I'm gonna play it better safe than sorry. We're going dry bag. That's when you then roll this on up. Give it a little clip at the top. I assume you are Woojin as well. Yes, Woojin hardware, love that. Magnets clip right there. And now we're doubling up. Dry bag, roll top, and I know, it's the moment you all been waiting for. And here are the results. As you can see, I got an 8-liter bucket filled with agua, and I just went to town on it. Poured it all over the bag. Now, we did not do the double whammy, we just did a single because obviously, having looked at this bag for 2 seconds, it's basically waterproof when the dry bag is done. So I wanted to test it on those lazy days when you forget to do the dry bag. And I poured the whole 8 liters of water on this bag pretty viciously, if I might say. I was a little concerned at a few points, but lo and behold, after all the water was poured from the bucket onto the bag, the interior and my purple sweater from Unbound Merino, shout out to them, was bone dry. Now, D-Fy.it claims this bag is also submersible. I would take that with a pinch of salt. Not a full grain, but maybe just like a little tiny pinch. Because you gotta remember this back pocket, we've got a zippered section here. If you had your phone in this pocket and you try to submerge the bag, the phone might get destroyed. And also, if you're not going double whammy, if you're not doing the dry bag and you're just in roll top mode, again, you could be exposed in these corners potentially as you just have Velcro. But fully being, waterboarded aside, it's very clear this bag is insanely water resistant. Now let's talk about these water bottle pockets because they might be a deal breaker for some people. On the pro side, they're gonna be extremely durable. We're using the same fabric here as we are here. But while they're gonna be durable, they're not going to be very stretchy. So my 24-ounce Columbia water bottle, when this bag is fully packed out, it's gonna be tough to get in. I'll be honest, I don't know if this is to increase the waterproofness of the bag. You can see though, we got our 24-ounce in there. As you can also see though, it took a little extra tricep to make it happen. And this pocket is really eating into the main compartment. Again, I assume this is to ensure non-negotiable waterproofness for the entire bag. But remember, these pockets are great for lots of things. You can do your water bottle in one side and an umbrella in the other, but yeah, I mean, these are really, really tight. This will also depend on what you're packing in the main compartment as well. And one final note on the water bottle pockets is that D-Fy.it informed us that they'll be adding drainage holes for production. Now real fast, before we jump into the next section, I gotta let you know that if you are enjoying this review, you might be a bit of a gearhead. Or at the very least, like you love bags and you might travel a bit and, you know, dabble in EDC. And if that's the case, I wanna, again, welcome you to Nomads Nation, but also let you know that here at NN, we don't just do reviews on our YouTube channel, but we also have the Nomads Nation newsletter. And in that newsletter, you could look at me like you're a reporter in the field, coming directly into your inbox a few times a month, talking about the newest drops, limited, that was a roller one. Limited edition releases, industry trends, and everything in between. So if you want to keep your finger on the pulse of what's happening in this incredible niche, be sure to sign up for the Nomads Nation newsletter, which you can do by finding this globe emoji in the description below. Hope to see you in your inbox. Let's talk about the back of the D-Fy.it 1 waterproof backpack. Top handle gets the job done, really nice and grabbable, a little bit of padding here. We're using a premium seatbelt nylon webbing, easy to hang via hook, great execution on the handle. And there's not a lot of features going on the back. Like bags these days, they got like 17 lash points and hidden pockets and stowable back compartments, but D-Fy.it said, F that. We're focusing on simplicity and just nailing the brief. Waterproof. But although keep in mind that whatever is on the inside of your bag is waterproof, whatever is on the outside can get absolutely saturated. For instance, when we just did our 8-liter bucket of water test run downstairs, you know, this top handle was saturated, and then all the mesh and foam in here also pretty wet, but there's no way around that, guys. Water gets fabric wet. I can say though, as we've been shooting this review for what, 44 minutes now, we're slowly drying up. Actually, shoulder straps are pretty dry. Back panel still got a bit of dampness to it, but overall I feel like it's so well ventilated. As you can see with all these holes, that it will dry fairly quickly if you get caught in a rainstorm. And think about what we got going on here, guys. Like, you know, let's say you want a waterproof bag. You might be familiar with the concept of dry bags, but like when you get a dry bag that has a back panel like this, you're actually getting this souped up dry bag inside of a pretty smart looking roll top that's giving you all the benefits that a backpack has. Because dry bags never have comfort. They just give you dryness, that's it. Shoulder straps, we do have a couple of lash points, one on either side, laser cut Hypalon, a little bit of branding. And as for the comfort, it's fine, you know? This is definitely not the most comfortable bag I've ever tested. For me personally, I like a bit more padding in the shoulder straps. We got a depth of 0.5 cm, which I think for the size of this bag is fine. And then for the width of the shoulder straps, looking at 2.5 inches, which again, for the size of the bag, I'm okay with. One negative point on the comfort though, y'all, lack of sternum strap. This is typically a connection point between the two straps that takes pressure off your lower back. Not a deal breaker at this size necessarily. Actually, kind of for me it is though. Like I use a 20-liter in my EDC, that weight adds up. I'm getting old. Sternum straps really help redistribute that weight. And it might be a deal breaker too if you're a cyclist, because although D-Fy.it is not advertising this as like a cycling commuter bag, I do feel like it could be a great cycling commuter bag, but that lack of a sternum strap could be a bit of a deal breaker for some cyclists out there. Dangle stopper at the bottom, keeping this little guy happy. Last note, let's talk about this back pocket. Because although it's not waterproof, you've got this little lip right there, and I feel like it's gonna be pretty safe from the water. Not submersible safe, but if you get caught in a rainstorm, I mean, zippers by themselves have a tendency to block water, right? It's still fabric. There's a little bit of volume in this pocket, depending on how the bag is packed out. You can see my iPhone 13 fits very nicely in there. And this is actually the one great point of quick access on this bag. You can just flip it around, quickly grab what you need, bada bing, bada boom. And in the situation that you want to keep your keys in this pocket, you can see we have a little bit of hardware sewn into the top that you can clip your keys on. And then you got a little extra depth to it, runs down to about here. Overall, I'm very glad that we had this pocket. Otherwise, there might just be like, you might be missing that one little sweet modern backpack perk. Like this at least takes it into the future enough for me. It's like, okay, I got that. I can work with this bag now. Now, let's do the most important part of this review and talk about the overall pros and cons of the D-Fy.it 1 backpack. Pro number 1 will be the impressive ventilation of both the shoulder straps and the back panel. Pro number 2 is going to be the awesome choice of that interior lining. But pro number 3 is really just going to be the whole package. This is an extremely focused product and kind of a rarity, as to where you're getting this amazing waterproof bag with this very innovative double whammy system with the dry bag inside the roll top. And the fact that it's actually a comfortable wear. Dry bags don't have nice shoulder straps and back panels, guys. It's a really innovative product. But having said that, all bags have cons, and here's a few you should consider. Con number one is gonna be the lack of elasticity of those side pockets, especially if you wanna put a water bottle in there. And con number two are gonna be the access compromises you're gonna have to make with this bag. I understand that they are necessary, but for some people, you might be second guessing, do I really need waterproofness? Maybe I just need some good old fashioned water resistance and then get more access in return. But with that said, like keep in mind, dry bags don't really have quick access pockets either. Okay, let's take these pros and cons and mash them together and give you my overall scores. Please keep in mind, these scores are personal, just based on my experience using the bag. Part number one for comfort, I give it a 3 out of 5. I think it's fine. It gets the job done. Definitely not uncomfortable. Sternum strap, would give it a little bit of extra. And I could have used a bit more padding, but I'm gonna take it with the caveat and the understanding that obviously waterproofness was goal number one. So there's probably some comfort compromises to make sure that happened. For score number two, value, I'm gonna give this a 4 out of 5. Just reason being, it's innovative and it doesn't really exist in the same fashion that I've seen before. And it's hard to put a price tag on something like that. But I do think if you're looking for the package of waterproofness, a bit of quick access, a bit of comfort, and just like a killer aesthetics package, it's gonna be hard to beat this bag. And for my overall score, I'm gonna give this bag a 4.5 out of 5. It's just what I love in a bag that knows what it is, it knows what it's trying to accomplish, it's doing something with utter excellence, and then building everything else around that. And just a reminder, if you agree and you're thinking about making a purchase, we do suggest doing so with the first link in the description below. Again, that link makes sure that you get the best price, and if we have any discount codes, that's where you'll find them. But if you're not quite sold, maybe you're second guessing the waterproofness or the aesthetic, you wanna hear my alternatives? Let's talk about them real fast. First up, if you're new to the Nomads Nation channel, you should definitely check out the leaderboard rankings video. In this video, myself and the Nomads Nation team, we get together and pick our favorite bags in different bag categories. It's a great way just to get an idea of what the best options are on the market. I've gone ahead and linked that above. Also, in case you didn't know, here at Nomads Nation, we actually started our own bag brand. It's called Fyro. I launched it after reviewing 300 bags. I saw some things that were missing in the market, and we focus on making gear that keeps modern professionals streamlined and focused. If that sounds like a use case you're interested in, be sure to check us out at Fyro.co or with the second link in the description. But we're very close with the D-Fy.it. Here are 2 bags that might get you a little bit closer. First alternative will be the Evergoods Weathershed. This is a great pick for you if you're looking for something that's seriously waterproof, but you want something that's a bit more premium. Not that this is not a premium bag, it's coming in at a more premium price point, but Evergoods takes it even the next level. Not that you need it necessarily, but you might want it. It's got a very different aesthetic, a bit more outdoorsy. The fabric feels a little bit thinner, but it's just as waterproof, and it's just Evergoods kind of doing it their own way. And my second alternative suggestion is gonna be the Stubble Co Roll tops. These are a great pick for you if you're watching this and you're like, you know what? I thought I wanted waterproof, but just some good old fashioned water resistance is actually more than enough for me. If you're good with 15 minutes of walking in light rain, you don't need anything more than that, then it really opens up what kind of a bag you can get. And Stubble Co is a great one. There's a lot of weather resistance on these bags. They're a very similar aesthetic. They're really solid roll tops. But again, they're not waterproof. If you need extreme water resistance, anything more than 10 to 15 minutes in light rain, probably stick to this or the Evergoods. But if you think that you can get away with a bit more weather resistance, then definitely check out the Stubble Co. There's a lot of options in the market, guys. And you just gotta figure out the one that best suits your needs. So to learn more about the 2 alternatives, you can just go ahead and watch these videos right here. If you have any questions, be sure to let me know in the comments below. Thank you so much for watching. My name is Aaron. This is Nomads Nation. We'll catch you guys next time.